When we picture a fight in the wild, it's so easy to just assume the biggest, strongest animal always comes out on top. But nature is way, way more clever than that. In this explainer, we're going to dive into 3 ultimate fighting styles that prove winning is about so much more than just raw power.
So let's just start with that big question, right? How is a fight really won out there in the wild? What's the thing that actually makes the difference between survival and becoming someone else's lunch? Now, if your first thought was, well, it's got to be sheer power, you're not totally wrong, but you're not seeing the whole picture either. The real answer is way more complex and honestly a whole lot more fascinating.
That's what it all comes down to. It's not just that they fight, it's how they fight. It's about style. We've actually broken it down into 3 totally distinct approaches that you see all over the animal kingdom. Okay, let's get into it. All right, first up, we have the most primal, the most straightforward style there is, the Brawler. This is the kind of fighter that basically throws the rulebook out the window and just relies on one thing. The Brawler's whole philosophy is simple. Just overwhelm your opponent. You hit hard, you hit fast, and you absolutely never, ever give up. It's all about pure, relentless aggression until the other guy just breaks. And our best example of this is a true giant killer. Meet the Wolverine, and just look at this size difference. It's insane. A 30-pound Wolverine will regularly go up against animals 10 times its size, like a 300-pound bear. And a lot of the time, it wins. I mean, how is that even possible? Well, it's possible because the Wolverine is basically a tiny, furry tank. It's perfectly built for a brawl. We're talking jaws that can crush frozen bone, claws like literal ice picks, and skin so tough it's almost like armor. It is built for a head-on, brutal fight.
And this story just sums it all up perfectly. There was this one documented encounter where a wolverine's pure, terrifying ferocity was enough to make a massive bear give up its dinner and just leave. The wolverine wasn't stronger, it was just more ferocious. But what happens when you can't win with brute force?
Well, that brings us to our next style. See, if you're small and you can't be a brawler, you have to get clever. You have to be a trickster. This is the fighter that relies on a weapon so bizarre its opponents literally have no idea what just hit them. And the absolute master of this style is the mantis shrimp. Now, I know it might not look like much, but this little crustacean is packing one of the most incredible weapons in all of nature. Okay, get this. When a mantis shrimp throws a punch, its little club-like fist accelerates faster than a .22 caliber bullet. It's one of the fastest movements in the entire animal kingdom. But the initial impact? That's only half the story. The punch is so unbelievably fast that it literally boils the water around it, creating a tiny bubble of vapor. When that bubble collapses a split second later, it creates a powerful shockwave that hits the target a second time. This is called cavitation, and that 1-2 punch can shatter crab shells like glass. So that's the whole point, you see. The trickster doesn't fight fair. It uses a totally unique, almost unbelievable advantage to win. But believe it or not, there's one more level of combat that's even more advanced. And this brings us to our final style, the genius. This is where physical power and weird weapons kinda take a back seat to the ultimate weapon of all, a brilliant, flawless strategy. And there is no better example of a combat genius than the orca. I mean, these animals don't just hunt, they create and execute these complex, multi-step plans that show this incredible understanding of their prey's biology. Just take their strategy for hunting a great white shark. They don't just charge in. No. Step 1, they isolate the shark from its group. Step 2, they use their massive size to ram it and flip it completely upside down. And this is where the genius comes in, because that flip triggers a bizarre biological shutdown. This state is called tonic immobility. The great white shark, one of the most feared predators in the ocean, becomes completely paralyzed. It's helpless. The orca has figured out its opponent's single greatest weakness and knows exactly how to exploit it. And that's the absolute brilliance of it. The orca doesn't need to get into a messy, bloody battle. It outsmarts the shark, it neutralizes it, and then it delivers a precise strike. This isn't a brawl. It's a perfectly executed tactical operation. So, after looking at these three incredible fighters, what's the big picture here? What does this all really tell us about what it takes to win? Let's just break it down one last time. You've got the brawler, like the Wolverine, winning with just pure, unrelenting ferocity. Then you've got the trickster, like the mantis shrimp, using a totally bizarre weapon that seems to defy physics. And finally, you have the genius, like the orca, whose greatest weapon is a flawless strategy. Three completely different paths to victory. Which really leaves us with one last thought to chew on. In any fight, whether it's in the wild or even in our own lives, what actually matters more? Is it the raw power you have, or is it the cleverness, the style, and the strategy with which you use it?